Yesterday, it was announced that a joint venture between Pfizer and BioNTech has produced a coronavirus vaccine which is over 90% effective. Now, in no way are we out of the woods yet, and moving that around the earth will be a logistical nightmare, but at least it's some good news. It gives us a little hope. But sadly, and rather predictably, the anti-vax brigade exploded onto social media. Like many conspiracy theorists, anti-vaxxers are fueled by a combination of rampant paranoia and below-par intelligence. For example, a flat earther would look at the horizon, and because there's no visual curve, he'll assume that must be flat, and also he can't feel the Earth rotating or orbiting around the Sun, and crucially, his brain cannot process that information. So he decides it's all a lie, and somehow that makes him feel intelligent. But flat earthers are just harmless cretins for the rest of us to laugh at, whereas anti-vaxxers are bloody dangerous, because whenever there's a spike in measles or rubella, you can guarantee there's a cluster of those fuckers living in the area. The vaccine has been developed in less than a year, and that's much faster than usual. But every scientist on Earth who specialises in this field has been working on it. It's a magnificent effort, something that should be celebrated. But the anti-vaxxers are saying it's dangerous, or the public are going to be used as guinea pigs, or questioning whether it's even really a vaccine. Please forgive me, but I'm more inclined to believe the world's leading virologists, rather than Sharon from Facebook, who loves being a full-time mummy to her many children, all of whom have different fathers, or Jason, who in his bio says he's living it large and works as a part-time delivery driver for Mohammed's Chicken Hut. In the comment section of an online news article, one chap had basically written an essay, littered with the spelling and grammatical errors that demonstrate his total lack of education, therefore qualifying him to be a full-on tinfoiler, where he explained that the vaccine is actually a poison that will be used to kill the poor. Although he didn't explain, when all the poor are dead, who's going to work for the rich. But he knows this is true because, I quote, "I saw it in a film." I assume he means that he saw it in a film. But so what? Does he not understand that films aren't real? In the original Star Wars film, that's a story of a young man who works on a farm in the desert, who gets indoctrinated into an ancient religion by a bearded man who lives in a cave whilst on the run from the authorities, and they use an aircraft to blow up a military base. That's basically what happened to the Pentagon on 9/11, but no one's saying that George Lucas is the mastermind behind Al-Qaeda. And on the same thread, a woman had commented saying that instead of giving us a vaccine, why don't they give us a really weak form of the virus so we can build up immunity? These fuckers are walking among us. And of course, many anti-vaxxers are talking about Bill Gates and the alleged nanotechnology. But this vaccine has been developed between British and German scientists. So if this was all part of an elaborate plan, wouldn't it have made more sense to develop the vaccine in San Francisco? Because if I were driving down the motorway and saw 2,000 articulated lorries with Microsoft Nanotechnology Mind Control Inc. written on the side of them, heading towards Pfizer's headquarters in Surrey, I would be somewhat suspicious. And for the people who keep banging on about this, 2 points. Firstly, what extra information could be gained by putting a chip in us that can't already be taken from the mobile phone? A device which is unlocked with biometrics, knows all of our passwords and constantly transmits our location. And secondly, why do these people think they're so fucking interesting? Why would Bill Gates, the Illuminati or the aliens care what a load of illiterate half-wits are doing? Because we all know they're sat at home on their own in a never-ending cycle of crying and masturbation. But there was a news story at the weekend which, due to the American election, went mostly unnoticed. But I think before long, the anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers and COVID deniers and QAnon believers and all the other lunatics are going to lose their fucking minds. So let's combine a few conspiracy theories. So in China, in Wuhan, the Chinese made a bioweapon called coronavirus, which isn't real because the pandemic has been invented by world government so they can install the 5G mobile phone network, which is actually a radiation weapon. And the lockdown means we will be injected with a vaccine that isn't the vaccine, containing technology that doesn't exist. And last weekend, China launched a rocket carrying a 6G satellite. So while we were all distracted by the obviously rigged American election, those commie bastards were rolling out 6G. And whatever the crackpots say that'll do. Essentially just faster data transfer. On a serious note, I won't be among the first people to get the vaccine. But when it is rolled out, although I'll have some mild trepidation, of course I'll get it. Because I'm reasonably fit and healthy, and doing something which can help protect the more vulnerable members of society is just the decent thing to do. And the people who refuse to be vaccinated? Well, that's fine as well, provided they're also refused any medical treatment and left to die. And on that happy note, thanks for watching.